So I'm not even flying today, Anthony, and airports are screwing with me still. Oh,
I got a question for you.
yeah. Let's find out.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
And that's all I have to say about that really important question that you just asked me, Anthony.
So funny. It's usually good at saying, I have a question for you. All right, right after this. And, I have a question, and I thought you were going to say, and I have an answer. And
yeah. I don't know. I know where it's going to go, Anthony. I never know where it's going to go. Why do I still have this particular graphic up? Oh, I know. Because Dr. Producer Suzanne's not here today. And what are you going to do?
So you're at the TWA Hotel, I see.
Yeah, I wish I was. I'm supposed to be picking up my buddy at 1 o'clock, and we're going to go have a nice drink over there because it's a really, really cool hotel, and he's really excited to see it. But his flight is super delayed, so I'm not there right now. But instead, I'm here.
Are you saying there's an airplane that's super delayed?
I know. Apparently, the Miami International Airport is having a lot of issues right now. I don't know what those issues are, if you know. But
so can I tell you a story? First of all, tell everybody what we're doing today, and then I have a story for you.
First of all, welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's Anthony Melchiori. I'm Glenn Hausman. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of stories that we're seeing in the news. And we're just going to analyze kind of the stuff out there. You know, Anthony, I love talking to the guests every day. But when you and I have a chance to just take a look at some of the stories and dig deeper, I think that's a super time, too.
Yeah, it seems like people like it, too. So
yeah.
But before we do that, I have a story.
Okay. Before your story, could I do one bit of housekeeping, if you don't mind?
Go right ahead. Go ahead.
All right. I just want to thank the good folks over at Radisson Hotels America. So thank you for supporting this show twice every single week, even as they're going through transitions to become part of the Choice Hotels family. They are supporting us. We'd love for you to support them. They've got incredible brands out there. I love that Radisson Red, that Radisson Blue. A number of other ones might just be perfect for you and your investment. So go check out Radisson Hotels America. Tell them No Vacancy called. All right. What's your story?
So you want to hear a story?
Yeah, man, I do.
Okay, we've been doing this 650 times, and I still can't look at the camera. I have to look at you. So.
I know. It's a little weird. Just to let everybody know, what I've started doing is I stand a little bit farther back from the screen so I get a full view. Yeah. So I can look at the camera and see you.
Do a good job. Most people listen to this. Most people so
yeah.
So this is a real hotel like story for me.
Okay, cool.
I'll tell you off air who it is. But I have a friend that you know, and he's well-to-do, but he has a friend that's really, really well-to-do. And his friend said, "Hey, we went. I want to take 5 other couples, and we're going to go to Italy, and we're going to rent a bowler yacht, and it's all on me. I'm going to pay the entire bill. You can't even go in your pocket for tips. Tips are taken care of. Nothing." So at the end of the trip, they donated to charity. But anyway, they went on this bowler yacht.
Yep.
And the gentleman I'm talking about makes me look like I don't care about cleanliness. Like he is so OCD, and he is so intense on making. He loves hotels. He loves travel. Yep.
And Anthony is so into cleanliness. He wears white gloves and wipes me down before he'll have a conversation with me in person.
Another bad dad joke. But what was so funny was I was talking to him this morning, and he said, as soon as you got back from the trip, call me.
Right.
Call me tomorrow. So I gave him a call, and he sounded like a 12-year-old that just had way too much candy. Awesome. He's like, Anthony, I didn't realize. And this guy saw it, bought it, created it, invented it, sold it, and bought it again. He's not a man that hasn't done a lot in his life and has seen almost everything in his life.
Right.
The crew members and the service of this yacht blew the brains out of the back of his head.
Wow.
He said that, like, he'd go in the shower, he'd come back, and his clothes would be folded. He'd leave for dinner, his clothes would be white. Like, just crazy stuff.
Wow.
The food was amazing, the service. And it's just great when, I know it's kind of bowler yacht and it's money, and you can talk about, oh well, that's what happens when you have people, that's great. But you know what? We're not talking about that. We're talking about the people who are employees that are getting paid very well to be
Right.
out for a week. If you saw,
Mhm.
with 6 feet below or whatever it's called.
Yeah, yeah, I know what lower six.
Below
I
Deck,
don't know,
Below
but
Deck.
whatever. Below Deck, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
6 Feet Below is a mafia movie I was working on. But
And Lower Decks is a cartoon Star Trek show, so I was getting confused
so
there.
talk about Star Trek. We may have some things to talk about in that in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
We'll
hopefully.
Hopefully,
Yeah, we may go where no one has gone before. So I'm
guarantee
excited
you
about that.
this would be a really great get as a guest. But anyway, I was just impressed
With the
that
employees.
the service level is that high. And listen, we've all said, like, even at the best hotels, best restaurants, service isn't great. But apparently on this Bowler yacht, it blew his brain. Like, he was like literally couldn't stop talking about it. And the man, he's older than me, so he's been around. So anyway, I guess, Mark, Glenn, I guess you guessed who it is.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out after the show. Sorry, guys. I hate that we can't share that with you. And I'll tell you, Anthony, that's one of the things.
Permission to share it.
Oh no, I get it. I totally get it. But when I listen to radio shows and they bring something up and I can't find out who that name is, it drives me crazy for like 3 seconds. But I'm like a goldfish, and then I just move on to I move on to something else. Speaking about great employees, the hospitality industry is having such a challenge trying to find enough people to work in it. And we all know Roger Dow, the outgoing CEO of U.S. Travel Association. He just retired the other day, and already he's out there announcing a brand new company called Future Work Solutions. And it's all going to be about looking beyond positions and bodies to fill them when it comes to trying to fill some of these 1.3 million leisure and hospitality job vacancies. Interestingly enough, Anthony, they're going to look at demographic trends, changing workforce, community needs to provide a way to fill both jobs and provide upward mobility for workers. So interesting.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, really, really interesting.
I think at this point we have to do the Amazon of human resources. You just go online, you go, I need 3 to 11 in Chicago, on Tuesday, and please deliver them to my business 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
I know there are companies that are trying to do that, but we really need to have that. We need a company like an Amazon to really come up with some technology that really allows, kind of like when we order an Uber. We just order a job and say, I have experience. I can go work at the Intercontinental. All right, so you can work this week? Sure.
Yeah.
Come a day early. We'll train you and then go behind the desk.
Right. And interestingly enough, the Dow's quoted on this as saying there's a workforce out there, but they don't want to work the same old way where they go in the back door of a hotel, get a job, get lousy shifts, work 5 days a week. They're saying, I'd like to tell you when I want to work. Younger workforce is saying they want flexibility, balance of life, and choice.
Well, that's what Omni, human resource director, was on a show. That's what she said.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting how all of this is starting to change. And it really shows you market forces at work, right? It's really very, very, I think, very American in that kind of a sense. Yeah, go on.
Somebody said, I think on the show, I think Sean said it, the guests may be winning the war, but the owners are winning the battle, but the guests are going to win the war.
Right.
The guests are going to give up on hotels if they don't get this right. And we have to get it right. And, I hear from everybody every day. It's like, hey, I can spend $200 on a hotel room, but I can't spend $800 on a hotel room. So the $200 room is now $800. The $1,200 room is now $4,000.
Yep.
It's just pinching everyone.
It sure is. All right. So
you in Hawaii, and you said hotel rates were pretty crazy.
Ooh, they were pretty crazy. And I would love, once again, to thank our good friends over at Outrigger for making sure I did not have to pay those super crazy rates over there. I did pay, but not to that extent. But I mean, just everything there was just super duper expensive. And, after this, Anthony, as you know, I'm heading down to Atlantic City, and those hotel rooms, I did a quick search throughout all the rooms throughout major properties. They're getting $500, $600, $700 a night all weekend.
Yeah, and your rate is complimentary.
Yeah, well, we don't need to tell everybody that. I'll start getting death threats.
Well, Well, that's what happens. You know what? That's what happens when you get lucky and fall into a job where you know everyone. And it only took you 35 years to get lucky. So
Yeah, I know, right? It is true. And funny you should say luck, because just today I put up a quote. We put up a quote. Our team put up a quote from an interview we did on Mark Summers that we ran while I was in Hawaii. And the quote really focused on, and I encourage everybody to check our social media pages for that. It's how opportunity comes your way, but it's not just that opportunity comes your way. It's what you do with that opportunity. Are you going to drop the ball, or are you going to grab it and run with it? Right, Anthony?
right. And it's like, everybody looks at whoever, just name a person that you think successful. And like, that was easy. But I'm telling you, everybody that I admire, that I perceive as, oh my God, that's pretty big what they've done.
Mhm.
They outwork me. No
Right.
one can outwork me when I put my mind to it. But like, sometimes when people like want a baller jet or a helicopter or a yacht, they outwork me for it. I don't want
Right.
a yacht or a helicopter.
Yeah.
But they put in 19, 20, 23 hours a day, man.
Yeah.
There's a great show on HBO Max called it's the Carl Icahn documentary that my
Mhm.
production company, when I say mine, the company that I work with on Hotel Impossible and my other shows, did for HBO Max, and it's the Carl Icahn, The Restless Billionaire.
Mm.
If you haven't watched it, I ask that you watch it. You can think anything you want, corporate raider, he screws the little man, whatever you think he is. Watch the documentary. The one
Interesting.
thing you take away is the man works.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you don't have to like somebody if they're subjective documentary, but I think learning these stories is interesting and gives each of us perspective and things that we could pick out that might be able to improve our lives or reinforce our values,
Absolutely.
So Anthony, Allison is saying, hey, the other day I had my own marathon of Hotel Impossible on Discovery Plus. I like that. I haven't been watching any HBO Max, but I'll tell you, with what's going on with Discovery Plus and Warner Brothers, I'm thinking I'm going to get it and then watch all your shows again.
I think I'm going to do a public service announcement soon, because
Yeah.
I just told my wife, I get asked just too many times to count a day, a week, a month, a year on when's it coming back. And
Mhm.
I will tell you, and you've heard me say this, Glenn, after we didn't get picked up for after 9 seasons, I kind of wish that we wouldn't get picked up.
Right.
Because I was tired, man. It was
Yeah.
10 years on the road. And so I went kind of I run my own business and do my own thing. And
Mhm.
then about a year ago, I said, I'm going to get it back. So I will just say there's been fits and starts, but we're going to get it back. We're working on getting a new show. And also 5 Star Secrets, the show.
That'd be awesome.
Which is one of my favorite shows. We have an idea of how to do that again. So stay
Awesome.
tuned. But it's I went from never thinking about it and everybody else thinking about it to I'm thinking about it a lot and we're working on it a lot. I was just actually on the phone with the production company this morning. So
awesome. Well, that would be really cool if that really happened. I'd love to see you in action again in that capacity.
Well, it's important. It's important to bring people like the technology piece of what's going on in human resources, like what he's doing.
Yeah.
And talking about the supply chain issues and talking about all the issues. And we're going to put a little spin on it, a little bit different. We're going to make it a little bit more focused on the real estate as well. So to make it a little bit more, inside baseball, behind the curtain.
Yeah. I love that idea. That's great. And the really cool thing about this is nearly everything has changed since you were last doing that show, right?
Everything. It's what I used to say, I wish that, I love doing the show, but it made me look like I was just a service guy who knew how to clean hotels.
Right.
And, it's a lot more complicated than that. But because they had such a lot of owners had just no clue
Right.
how to treat their staff, that it seemed like all I dealt with was, people who were yelling at me because they were mad that I was trying to stand up for their staff.
Right.
I want to get more into how difficult it is for the owner to make money, how difficult it is for the employees to get what they need and have flexibility. And like I said, a little bit of like what market, how, like right now, the big thing is the Airbnb concept, the apartments, better than anybody. the
Mhm.
apartments that we're turning into quasi apartments, hotels,
Right.
Airbnb, bed and breakfast, your sister's ass, everything that we're turning all these things into these properties, and then we're saying, well, we have this technology, and we get this demographic and that demographic. At the end of the day, they're all selling to third parties. They're all selling to on the Airbnb website, and so really, what is the mystery behind all this that's so complicated? I think it's a lot easier, and I think there's a
Right.
space for it, and I think it's going to be very successful. It is very successful.
And one of the things that consumers don't even understand is all of the layers that go into creating a successful hotel. It's not just what you were able to showcase so well in 9 years on the air. There's all that stuff that you were mentioning, the real estate, the behind the scenes technology, even the events that you go to do the networking in order to get the latest scoop on what you need to know.
I'll give you a perfect example.
Mhm.
On Gurney's Inn, it was my pilot episode, I wanted to
Yep.
really show behind the curtain.
And in case somebody doesn't know, that's a hotel in Montauk out on Long Island.
And it's now a beautiful hotel. You can't get in there unless
Yep.
you're paying $4,000 a night. But it had nothing to do with what I did. It had to do with them selling the hotel. But like, I wanted to show the co-op part of the hotel. So that hotel was a hotel, but it was also a timeshare kind of co-op kind of situation.
Mhm.
And I wanted to show the complexity of making a hotel like that successful.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, in 42 minutes of TV, the producer said that's too complicated for the audience to kind of take. So it's Hotel Impossible. Let's talk about the hotel part of it.
Mhm.
And they were right. They were 100% right. But I would have loved to have been able to show the complexity of why that hotel had
Right.
difficulty with operations.
Right. I mean, what a hotel could look amazing, but still be failing because of the financials that were a part of it, either development costs or they got into it at the wrong price, that sort of stuff.
Listen, there's a hotel we consult for right now in my business that has that component, and it's
Mhm.
challenging. It's challenging for revenue management. It's challenging for
Yep.
operations. So it's difficult.
Yeah.
And what's interesting?
Mhm.
I get Hotel Impossible all the time, but like almost, and my partner told me this. Almost nobody knows I have a revenue management and consulting business,
Right.
and because I never market it or talk about it, right?
No, occasionally you'll mention it on air within the context of a conversation, but
So
nothing
we
else.
gotta talk more about that because I love doing these projects. And
Yeah.
but yeah, so after that, I focused on our revenue management consulting business,
Mhm.
keynote speaking engagements.
Yep.
We're building a hospitality program.
Yep.
So been busy, but I gotta be honest with you, it's the first time I'm gonna admit this on air,
Uh-oh.
or ever. I don't even know if I told you this. I miss it. I want to go
Yeah.
back. I went from never wanting to see the logo again.
Right.
Let alone but I miss my guys. I miss Enrique.
Right.
I miss.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
hear you.
Listen. At the end of the day, it was. I had to get my head back in the game.
Right.
But after 9 years, 10 years
Yep.
on TV, it took me 4 years to recuperate.
It makes that makes a whole lot of sense.
And the
I
other
think
thing people don't understand is I'm not Guy Fieri, and I'm not. These guys are TV guys. I'm a hotel guy that happens to be
Right.
on TV.
right. Totally.
And
I-
Guy is great. Guy is a great businessman, and I have tremendous respect for him.
Right.
But I never
Mhm.
saw that vision for myself, even after
Right.
9 seasons. And Guy is amazing what he's done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting what you say about wanting to get back into it because sometimes to fully appreciate some of our experiences in life, you need to have a little distance from it in order to have that separation that allows you to look at it with fresh eyes and go, "Oh yeah, that was really awesome."
And also, it's been a little bit interesting because people put that on you, right?
Mhm.
And I've never talked about this before. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about today. And I'm just realizing it myself. They put that on you.
Mhm.
You're the TV guy. Oh,
Mhm.
you're the TV guy. One of the things we do with our clients is that I have to convince them that I'm actually going to be involved in their business.
Ha!
You're
Oh,
like-
that's it. That is an interesting unintended consequence that you probably never thought would happen, right?
Not a client
Right.
we have that doesn't question my
Right.
partner on, well, Anthony's not going to be involved. I just literally got off a phone with 9 people on a Zoom talking about one of my clients.
Right.
So it's interesting. Listen, you can't keep me away from running hotels and training and operations. You just can't. And I was away from it for 9 years. So now I miss the Hotel Impossible, but I also really missed like I said to you before, Glenn, give me a really good general manager job,
Yep.
and I might consider it.
And he has said that to me before. All right, Allison's on a roll with the Hotel Impossible questions. Hey,
Allison.
keep in touch with any of the hotel owners that still have their hotels at all?
I would tell you that the answer is yes, up until maybe the pandemic.
Mm.
And then everything got a little kind of crazy and everything got shut down. But I would say I was in touch with the first year after the show, maybe 20%. And now I would say before the pandemic, a handful. And now I'm really once in a while a DM. So I have about 3 or 4 or 5 of them. And but listen, I love all my children.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
The ones I don't like, I love the ones that I walked away from. The one in the Catskills. They gave us a great show, man.
Yeah, that was a great show. Wasn't that the whole the building was rotting away and was going to kill somebody?
Yeah. You know what pissed me off is that town. I won't mention it. That we told them before the show aired. We said, listen, you got to condemn these buildings. We're going to put this on air, and you're going to go on blast. I'm telling you. Right. So we wrote, the lawyers wrote, everybody wrote, the city, the fire department, the buildings department, every department. And they didn't do anything. Okay. And then it aired. Yep. And then they did something. And because the sound was up in arms. Yeah, I bet. It's Woodstock. So Woodstock, all the purveyors, all the entrepreneurs were up in arms that there was a hotel in their town giving them a bad reputation, because we know Woodstock's beautiful and a lot of great hotel owners and restaurant and retail owners. And so once it aired, they kind of there was a problem. That's all I'll say. But you know what? It's I did not realize, and again, this sounds like I'm blowing smoke up my ass and self-serving. I didn't realize, and I can't believe, again, I don't know what's happening today. I have this truth serum, but I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but damn, that show was good.
I'm so happy for you. That's awesome to feel that way. I mean, it really is.
You know what it is? I never really looked at it, because it's like anything else, right? Look what we built. We didn't even know we were building it, right? The show. Like everybody in the world is asking us to be on the show. We built it. We don't even know what the hell we built. And it's the same thing with the show. I was so busy worried about that the hoteliers. I was just talking to the NYU class, and I was like, I was so concerned that people wouldn't take me seriously and that they would think I'm a laughing stock, that I was more worried about getting a job back in the hotel business. And if I didn't keep it real, I wouldn't have a job in the hotel. I wouldn't be in the hotel business anymore. And so that was so I was so busy, fixing the car, that I couldn't drive the car. And so now I don't look at it very often. But when I do, I don't look at it to enjoy it. I study it. And it's just from the editing to the sound to what the producers did. And everything. It's like kind of like when a chef that's building a beautiful steak, right? It's a beautiful meal for you. The steak, if you don't have the steak, when you put the beautiful onions and the beautiful seasoning on it, it's a bad steak. I mean, if it's a bad steak, it's a bad steak. You can't do anything. Same thing with us. If we didn't have good production, we didn't have a good show, like a good hotel, good owners, which means sometimes challenging owners. I just came in and did what I do, and I'm good at what I do. But if I didn't have everything else around me, I'd just be another guy that had a failed TV show, because he's good and he knows what he's talking about, but it's a failed TV show. I thought for a long time the wrong components around me. After I realized, watching the show after years, it was difficult, and it was a difficult environment sometimes, but I had the right. It was the right way of doing it.
Yeah. It took you a little while to get it going, but it's awesome that you could look back and really appreciate it in that way. Are you able, I have trouble looking at anything I've ever done. As I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, that's great. But then anything I've looked back in the past, I'm like, oh, that was terrible.
I do it the opposite. Everything I do, I'm like, that doesn't work. That's shit. That's bullshit. That's not I'm upset. I have an obsessive person. I'm not obsessed. Like, I don't drink too much drugs or anything like that. Right. But when it comes to work, and I was trying to explain this the other day to a kid I'm mentoring. And I'm actually doing a speech for the United States Air Force in about 10 days, and for about 5,000 people.
Awesome.
And they want to talk about competition and getting the job done and winning. And like I've said before, and I was talking to somebody that there's people that are extreme. Like if you take a Michael Jordan or if you take a LeBron James or whatever, and not comparing myself to any of those people, but those kind of personalities, they're on and then they're off. There's no in between. And that's me. That's me. So when I was doing it, I was a lunatic. And then I wasn't, because then I'm not doing the show anymore. So then I was lunatic about my business. So when I'm in the game, I'm not in it to lose to anyone. So whether it be any reality host on television, my only goal was to be better than them.
Yeah.
And the ones that were better than me, that I think are better than me, I don't watch their shows.
You never watched other shows that you respected the performers and the host to like say, oh, I like how they do that, or I like this.
No. I think Guy Fieri and Anthony Bourdain, Samantha Brown, are the best hosts on television, in my opinion.
Well, don't leave out friend of the show, Mark Summers.
Mark Summers is the greatest, I think, of them all, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying that because he's my friend. I get caught up with admiring them. And if I ever take anything from them that's outside of advice, not that I know Guy Fieri that way, I've met him a couple times, but I know Samantha Brown, obviously, but I'll take their advice, but I don't want to watch them.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to take something from them that's not mine. And honestly, my whole life has been about being authentic. So, like, it
doesn't mean you can't be authentic, but you could learn a skill.
I need to learn one thing and one thing only. Make sure the show is 100% real. You don't talk to people off camera, and you don't take any bullshit from anybody. Mark Summers taught me that. And boom, done.
Right. Now, interestingly enough, it's in my world, because for those of you who don't know, I do a lot of keynote speeches. I host a lot of panels aside from the podcast. I do all of that public stuff. Everything I learned, Anthony, I didn't necessarily learn from people that I thought were good. It's like, oh, that was a mistake. I would never do that. That's boring. And I kind of checked off a whole list of things to never do to kind of figure out what you should do, and then try to find the authentic me.
And that makes sense. And that's it. I was always the authentic me. I never had to find it. I had to, as you know, temper down my nervousness. Because when I got on stage, not on TV, but on stage, I have a horrible stage fright. But I don't have it anymore. I don't have it anymore. But it's taken years for me to overcome that, and I've overcome that by. I'll give you an example. I did something yesterday. I was on the phone with the Air Force guy who's the connection, and I'm going to show a clip in the beginning of the show, of the speech of my movie. And I've never done that before. I don't really talk about it. And it's for a very specific reason, right? So I'm being very authentic. And he didn't call me back when I told him to watch the clip.
Right.
So I thought he fired me. But it's a very specific reason for that. Because I went from that to the military. Right. And so, being authentic has been easy for me. It's being very aggressive without being mean. When you're on this, and I have a great production team. I learned a lot from Bruce, David Klein, Alex, all my producers. I've learned so much. And but how do I borderline? I'm very aggressive and not being mean and not being disrespectful. And that was very difficult because I felt like I was captured. I felt like I was in a box, right? And everybody's peeing on me and telling me what to do. And I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. And it didn't. It never happened. But it was a fight every day, and for a number of reasons. So that was really, really difficult. But I never really, like I said, I could watch Guy Fieri talk about going to the post office.
Right.
I think he has something about him
Yeah.
that is just
It's that it factor thing that makes you want to watch certain people that are magnetic. Now, like Justin Timberlake is like one of those people, for example. I don't like his music or any of that stuff, but watching him is infectious. He's just
I'm going to tell you a Justin Timberlake story. You want to hear it?
Before you do that, I just want to say one thing. I don't want to keep her waiting. Allison said her kids just walked by and said, "Hey, it's Anthony from Hotel Impossible." And they're 10, 7, and 5. How cute is that?
Hello to your children. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Sorry, I only interrupt for children. Go ahead, Anthony.
No, I'm taking the mic today, and I don't mean to.
Yeah.
I was at a opening. My friend ran Planet Hollywood in Times Square. Remember when that opened?
I do remember when that opened.
When NSYNC, right? Justin Timberlake, they were kind of involved with the advertising or whatever, and they supposedly had a partnership, whatever.
Yeah.
So I got invited to the VIP. There was 2 VIP lines: the VIP line and the VVVIP line. Now, you know me long enough to know. Yes, I was on the VIP line, but you know me long enough to know I got my ass on the VVIP list.
Right.
And how I did that is I just literally slid in. And anyway, so I remember trying to get an autograph for my goddaughter.
Right.
And I was a little pushy, and I may have pushed a 12-year-old without realizing it. And Justin Timberlake, in the stampede of people, literally looked at me in the eye. And he was a kid, man. He looked me in the eye, squared up on me, and he goes, "Really, dude? Don't be that guy." And I just got dressed down by a teenager, and he was right. And I never forgot that because, like, he really cared about his fan, and that was such a beautiful, like, you were raised right kind of moment. Like, like you're right. Like, I'm trying to get this for my niece, and I want to get it for my niece. But like, I didn't realize I pushed out like 12-year-old, and I didn't hurt her, but I just kind of should, I guess. And he was right, and then he held me accountable. So
that's awesome.
It's good. Like,
it is definitely good to be polite. I'll stand behind that every day. Anthony.
Well, I was polite, but I didn't realize I pushed him. But he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to stop me because it wasn't like I shoved her against the wall. Yeah. I just kind of walked in front of her.
Mm-hmm. Well, what are you going to do? All right. So, Anthony, this is definitely turning into the Anthony Ask Anthony kind of show today. Hey, remind us the name of Anthony's movie. Where can we find it? It was Wise Gal, 2008 or 9?
Wise Gal.
Yeah. Where do you know where it is right now? I think you guys can find it on Amazon.com, but do you happen to know offhand?
Amazon Prime.
Yep. All right. Cool. Awesome. If you guys have any other questions, ask us. If not, Anthony. So we've been talking a whole lot about the short-term rental business, right? So finally, one of the hotel companies that you and I both admire have decided that they are getting into it. I want to see if you could guess which of your favorite hotel companies are going ahead and doing this. Not one of the giant ones.
Okay. Well, I would like you to go. I don't know if this is my insecurity speaking, so I have to tell you that I called this. So
it's okay. You're allowed to. And I think I recall you actually saying it. Yeah.
I called it a long time ago. Twice I called it, probably on this show, but I also called it with the Associated Press when they asked me about Airbnb and the branch and everything else. And I said, I will eat my shoes if one of the major brands does not, actually it took longer than I thought, does not get head deep into this business.
Right.
And can I guess? Am I allowed to guess?
It's not one of the giant ones, but go for it. I would definitely want you to guess.
I'm going to guess it is Fairmont.
Nope. It's one that you've been talking about a lot in the last couple of years that you really like and admire. It's a smaller size company, independent, not affiliated with a major company.
I would say Kimpton, but Kimpton's now with Marriott.
Yeah.
Hold on. Best Western.
Don't make me school you.
Oh, Graduate.
Yeah. Yep.
Playing password.
So Graduate Homes is going to be offering short-term rentals at university locations as well as concierge services and access to the hotels, pools, fitness centers, and discounts at bars and restaurants as well.
Right. And what's the prediction I said about Graduate, which will come true very soon?
That one of the majors are going to buy them.
Again, I'll eat my shoes if that doesn't happen soon.
Yep.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. There's two. I'll give you an example. New York City. Do you know about the law that passed in New York City that doesn't allow hotels to be built without going through the government and getting special certification, and they have to work very closely with the government and the union? Did you know about that?
We talked about that. I believe Chip Rogers, president and CEO of the HLA, was on to discuss.
Well,
that,
it went through.
right?
Man. It went through, and so if you own the building in New York City now, you're in good shape because that's going to be worth triple if it's a hotel. Because it's going to be impossible to build the Ritz-Carlton Nomad or whatever again, unless they repeal that law. And it's supposed to help people. It's not helping anyone. It's not helping employees. Yeah. But anyway, so it's just becoming more and more difficult to do business. So
that's crazy.
They're gonna.
Now on the West Coast, LA is doing something stupid as well. But before we get to that, now Allison is saying, "Hey, give the kids, kids are starting school next month. Can you give a shout out with positive vibes, Anthony? They're going into kindergarten, 2nd and 5th grades."
Yes. Don't take crap from anyone. Stand up for yourself.
Everything you need to know, you learn in kindergarten. That's one of them.
Read that book, Everything You Learn in Kindergarten. Be nice to people, be respectful, but don't take crap from anyone. And no one is better than you, and you're better than no one.
That's right.
But just know your worth. Know that when that person or that little boy or little girl is not nice to you, they're not nice to you because they have a problem with themselves. It has nothing to do with you. So take crap from no one, be nice to your mother and father, and watch more Hotel Impossible.
Yes, and remember, nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody puts baby in the
corner. All right, so on the left coast in LA, apparently now another one of Chip Rogers' greatest fears is coming true. The city is going to force hoteliers to take homeless folks in hotels that are open to the general public. So you could have somebody that the city that could be mentally disturbed, which is why they're on the streets, and the city has let them down by not giving them the right services in order to help their condition. And they're going to put those people in a hotel room, possibly next to you the next time you stay in Los Angeles.
Do you know why?
I don't know why they're doing something so foolish.
Because they failed.
Right.
They failed as a government. They failed as, a municipality, whatever you want to call it. And they have no other choice because it's getting out of control.
Out of control.
You're putting listen, LA is a problem. You just put the death blow in LA if you do that. Because people that would stay at a hotel, like when I stay at the Peninsula. And I stay in other hotels that are not as fancy. If I get a good rate from my friend over there, I stay at the Peninsula. But you're not going to stay there if you want to help them. There by the grace of God, go I, man. You never know. You never know about any of us. The world's get more and more complicated. It's getting more and more challenging. So any one of us could be out on the street and lose our minds tomorrow. And kind of be suffering. So,
and it's horrible if somebody doesn't have that support system like you and I do, that they're getting abandoned by society. It's disgusting.
The government failed, so they're putting it on the hotel owners. I can't imagine that's a good thing. Listen, I have people that I talk to that say, I don't feel safe in New York. People very close to me in my life, and they're like, and I was like, it's safer than it's ever been up until a year or two ago. And now it's not safe if crime happens to you, right? But it's still safer than it was when we were growing up. But again, God forbid something happens to somebody, then it's hard when you want to move. Somebody just moved to Portugal because of all the things that are happening in this country. You can't send your kid to school without worrying about a mass shooting. So government has failed, and it's a problem. We think we're the best country on earth, which listen, America, I went in the military. I still believe it's the best country on earth. But with that said, every other country has health care, free tuition. Look what you're going through. You have put your 2 kids to school. I went through, so like this is normal in every other modernized country.
Right.
And we're backwards. We're, abortion rights, gay right to marriage. This is all kind of normal. You go to Portugal, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, of course we believe in gay marriage. Of course we believe in a woman's right to choose. Of course we give free education. It's your birthright. In Iceland, it's your birthright to have internet.
Right.
True. They put it in the Constitution.
Yeah, well, Kim Hodges agrees. I agree too. All right. Now, Allison, we're going to call this the Anthony, Glenn, and Allison show today. My 10-year-old wants to know: are you both at your house or a hotel? We both have studios at home. So, hey, I don't know what you name your 10-year-old, but check this out. I've got a green screen. So this is what it looks like, guys, when I'm here without the green screen. And today I felt like being at the TWA hotel, or I could be at the Showboat, or maybe a nice resort, you know?
That's supposed to kill the mystery.
I know. It's all right. I'm going to be shaking things up soon. I'm going to redesign the studio and have a brand new studio in the next couple of months. So I'm really.
Are you really? I didn't know about that.
I just started doing it. I got a new camera. I'm going to do a whole different kind of vibe and look for some of my content that I'm doing. So I'm taking it up a notch, Anthony. Oh, fun with green screens. All right, Anthony, I've got one more story that I want to talk to you about today before we wrap up.
Funny, I lost you. I don't know where you are.
Uh-oh. That's all right.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
There you are. Yeah, I can.
All right, cool. All right, so I've got one more story for you that I really I think is kind of a cool little piece over there. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right. As you folks out there know, when Anthony was running the Algonquin Hotel, he created an incredibly awesome news story with the marketing team about the martini and the diamond ring in the martini, right? $10,000 martini, you called it, right?
Rocks, $10,000 martini.
All right. So in that spirit, I thought this was a really fun story. In Fort Worth, Texas, the Kimpton Harper Hotel is celebrating its first anniversary. And what they did a partnership with Veuve Clicquot, and they put in, according to a spokesperson, visitors can enjoy champagne delivery straight to their room by picking up a newly installed champagne hotline, which is an old school rotary phone that they put into every single room. How cool. How much fun is that as a PR gimmick?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, does the hotel have anything to do with champagne? Is there a history about champagne there?
No, I just think it's the first anniversary. They're celebrating. They're getting into the vibe, and them and the PR team are probably like, "Oh, cool! Old school rotary phone, great visual images, right?" And that to me is all about putting the fun back into hospitality.
And you know what? We're talking about it on air, so
that's right.
Right. Can I bore you for a second?
You've been doing it for the last 4 years. Why stop now? Boom.
Yeah, we could do a broadcast from your living room, Kim.
Yeah.
That $10,000 martini, the martini on the rock, out of a lot of work and pushing. And I'll just say that the PR company wasn't giving me what I needed. Right. And they finally did, and it was a brilliant idea. And it came back to the history of the hotel. People got engaged in the hotel. So we just put a martini on the rock on the menu. We went to Rockefeller Center. We worked with the designer and said, listen, if somebody orders that, pre-orders it, would you sit with them and pick out a diamond ring? So how it worked was you would hear about it and say, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. Let me get engaged there. But you have to call us first.
Yep.
You come in for a sitting. You talk to the jeweler, and you can spend $1,000 or $20,000.
Yep.
And then we would set it to your specs. That day, we would hand the ring to our bartender. We would focus him on your table. You would order, say, the martini. Say, I'll have a martini, please. And your person you're going to get engaged to orders whatever, Coke or whatever. And they come over and they give you the martini. And then you get on your knee and boom. And we were on the front page. Wow, it was the biggest thing. It's still, look it up. Let's Google it right now. Top marketing ideas in hotels.
Okay, I'm doing that.
The one that won before us was the what happened to Vegas stays in Vegas.
That is iconic, right? I mean, that is one of the, separate from what you did, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas is, to me, maybe the single best tagline for a destination I've ever heard in my life. It
100%.
just right. It is what that city is. I love it. All right, I just did top marketing ideas, and I'm just getting strategies and stuff like
That's
that.
what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap up today, we're just talking about engagements. Let me just say congrats again to my buddy Steve and his fiance Claudia for getting engaged last week during the first set of a fish show at Jones Beach. How cool is that?
Was that?
They got engaged during the first set of the fish show at Jones Beach that I went to last Tuesday
very
night.
cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. All right, Anthony, anything else that you want to talk about today, or you want to get out of here?
Well, doesn't she have any more questions for us?
No, I mean, I got some more topics to talk about, but I'm
Let's
you know, I think we had a good, solid show today.
I got a few minutes, so go ahead.
Right. I'm gonna avoid that one. I'm gonna go with this one. All right. So the other day we've been talking a little bit about virtual reality and how that's going to be utilized in hotels. Remember, we were talking about that sort of thing. So there's an article came out by Hannah Fingerhut and RJ Rico in the AP last month that says many Americans don't expect to rely on the digital services that became commonplace during the pandemic after COVID-19. So a little different than the VR, but focusing on digital services and stuff like that. Close to half are saying that they might still do some stuff at home, like fitness classes or religious services, but really it's all about getting back to reality. And I think that this bodes very well for the hospitality industry that we're getting out of watching streaming services and going back to enjoying the real world.
I just talked to my friend who runs a major hotel in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, "How busy are you?" He said, is that a serious question?"
Right.
I go, "Yeah, it's a serious question." He goes, "Anthony, it's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane." But again, as soon as he says it's insane, what's the second thing he said?
Crazy insane?
No, you can't find any people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember it's not that bad anymore, but I remember speaking about, I think the same resort that we're talking about that normally has something like 10,000 employees. They had like 4,000 employees at the time. Now it's gotten significantly better, but none of the resorts are anywhere near full-time staff. But I don't have the numbers in front of me. My understanding is, here we go. July 1st, Nevada exceeds $1 billion in gaming revenue for 15 straight months as of the end of June.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
$1 billion a month?
$1 billion a month.
And that came from 3 guys.
May's revenue was up 32.4% over May 2019, Anthony.
What percent? 20? I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, I know. I'm glad you're sitting down. 32.4% more in May of 22 than May of 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane, bro.
Yep.
That's insane. It's going to slow down because of...
because they're going to run out of water and it'll turn into the zombie apocalypse over there. But besides that,
$1 billion a month in revenue, can't they figure out the water problem? No, that is very sad. Actually, what's happening over there.
Yeah.
It's those moments where you go back to the history of our country and realize there's so many ups and downs, but the United States of America, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we didn't say the United States, it was just states, right? It would be like they would all be their own countries, and we would be like, "Oh my God, California, that country of California, what a weird country with their crazy governor, and they're running out of water and like it's just so crazy that the things that we're dealing with here in New York and the things they're dealing with in California are so different in a lot of aspects.
Yeah. Man, this country is big, and there's so many different things and different issues in each of the areas. It's
Okay, so I'm going to be political for a second. Both parties got to go, and we just got to vote based on people's ability.
Well, what's his name? Mr. Yang, I'm forgetting his first name, and Christine Todd Whitman just announced the launch of the new political party.
Where was that?
A couple of weeks ago. Let me Google that.
Ross Perot 2.0 didn't work the first time, won't work the second time.
Yeah, that's right. It may not work, but listen, I give them.
I would love for them to do it.
Andrew Yang. The new party is called Forward. It launched a week ago.
Andrew Yang and who?
Christine Todd Whitman, former governor of New Jersey.
Yeah, but she's got a lot of skeletons in her closet. She'll get destroyed.
Oh, every politician has a lot of skeletons in their closet. That's what makes them so delightful.
With the whole thing on, the air quality down in World Trade Center, she was the one that said it was clear. So I don't know that I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot she joined the government and was head of the EPA for a while during the Bush administration.
Right. And I don't think she did anything on purpose, but I think she made some faux pas there.
Yep.
I think Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard.
I think that they would be able to put a party together. But I don't know if going back 40 years to bring somebody back from that level of bureaucracy is a way to build a new party.
I don't know. There's a reason why I'm not in a political party.
Glenn, I'm a political consultant as well as everything else.
Yeah, that's true. Look out, James Carville. Anthony McCleary's coming for you.
No, but honestly, if I was sitting in a room right now, and I was a political consultant, and you said, "Hey, this is the party that's coming up," and I just said those words, wouldn't you say that makes sense?
Yeah, totally.
We need somebody in office that just makes sense, man, and doesn't care. Like when I look at Hotel Impossible and people talk about it, like all I cared about was the owner didn't yell at me that I was being unfair to them. Like I don't know if they yell at me, but when they left, did they feel that it was about them and it wasn't about me?
I think that there may be people that feel that way, but that has to do with their lack of ownership over the situation they created than whatever you said or did.
Yeah, but in 90% of the time, I changed their mind because I came from a level of honesty and listen, they got a lot more out of it than I did. So that's why they saw that I was being authentic. But anyway, that's interesting. I would love, and again, being a marketing guy, is Forward a great name for a political party? Forward?
I get the vibe where they're trying to move forward and stuff like that, but I don't really think it's going to be a good word for the internet.
Or she does something wrong at a cocktail party, oh wow, he's really forward.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Listen, one of the things I miss is being able to be in a boardroom running a big hotel and people bring me ideas and me basically be able to question them. A lot of them I agree with, and a lot of them, like, I'll just be honest. And I don't know. I think I would go back to the drawing board a little bit.
I'm going to continue to try to be here in the sensible middle and not be in any political parties.
And again, I thought Amazon selling books was a bad idea. So who knows?
Who knows? They may not make it. It's always there's always a chance.
Google may not make it. And listen, as long as this country makes it.
Yeah, well, hope it does. And I'll tell you something. Hopefully, I'll make it through the weekend, and we'll be back Tuesday with a show live at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut with the president and CEO of Mohegan Gaming and Entertainment that oversees all of the properties within their system. So that's going to be
when are we doing that? Tuesday. I was on a call yesterday with a friend of mine who's going to come down to one of my speaking gigs. Yeah. And I go, what date was that? And he goes, Anthony, they called me and they told me this is the date you're speaking. I go, all right. And where am I speaking? I go, I'm going to be in Florida. He goes, no, you're going to be in San Antonio. I go, oh, okay. I was like, you have to understand, I'm not into that week yet.
I know. Right.
I don't, you know me, I don't focus on it. I'm focusing on what's going on today.
Yeah, totally.
It's all contracted. It's all signed. It's all on my calendar.
Yeah, that's all you got to worry about.
Like actually tonight, I'll start looking at next week.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a big board here with what's going on for the next 4 months, but I'm really only focused on the next week because I can't handle
you know more. Me. I have no idea what I'm doing on Tuesday. Well, now I know.
Well, you're going to be at Mohegan Sun.
Well, hold on. Well, this is the secret, right? You guys tell me, I put it on my calendar, and then everything else gets canceled. Not canceled, but doesn't get booked.
Yep.
So see, look. But look, I have a podcast Catskills.
There you go. It's don't go to the Catskills though. You want to go to Connecticut.
Oh wow. So you know what I'm thinking? We're going to Mohegan Sun. All right.
Yeah, there you go. All right, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday. I'll be at the Showboat all weekend. If you happen to be in Atlantic City, come and see us at the Showboat Friday at 5:00. I'll be with producer Dave doing Friday Night Audit, and a bunch of my friends come have a drink with us. Come and hang out. And also, Yeah.
It's just amazing to me if somebody can go to 200 fish shows and not get bored.
They're all freaking awesome.
No,
and
I know.
different.
That's what's so amazing about. Like, I would love. Is there a documentary on fish?
There's been some stuff, but I don't know if it's been. There's been nothing that's been like real seminal, like they've been able to do with the Grateful Dead documentaries lately.
You ever see the Meatloaf documentary?
No.
My friend did that. He did the Icon one. He's doing the Liza Minnelli.
Oh, that's cool.
One that does my production. It would be interesting to ask him to maybe look at that, because I want to know. Again, they're very successful, but how hard they work
Oh, crazy hard.
Engaged for this long.
Right.
And when I said, I don't know how you don't get bored, you looked at me like you wanted to punch me in the face.
No, I want to punch you in the face. I just don't. It did not compute.
You're like, what are you talking about?
Because I'm going to be, because it's a fun time with your friends. A lot of groups of guys go together and they go to sporting events, et cetera, et cetera. They do the tailgating. We all do the same thing. It's just, instead of going to see a game, we go to see amazing live music that makes us feel stuff and takes us places. And every jam that they do, if it's something it's unexplored territory that I've heard before and we go along with it, you really feel the emotions. You feel that either a good funk groove or they're building you up to a joyful woo and that sort of a thing. Or you get to hear some of your familiar favorites with new spins on it. And it's just awesome.
I missed that. It was a joyful what?
I know. Woo! But be careful. You don't want to woo too much, because it's kind of like how Republicans, Democrats go against each other, the wooers and the non-wooers in the fish community. Very dangerous.
This is the greatest country, and we've just got to understand this a moment. And the people that run this country are the people that listen to this podcast, that are us, that are the people. They're the people of this country who run this country.
Yep. And I am going to run to pack up the car and head on down to Atlantic City.
And I'm
get
ready for my next meeting. I wish I was going with you.
I know. Hey, everybody. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, wherever you get your shows. You're probably listening to us now because so many of you are doing that. And thanks for making us one of the top podcasts of the world. Why not watch us on video sometime? Check us out on our respective social media sites, NoVacancyNews.com, Anthony's fan pages, all that kind of good stuff. He's at Anthony Hotels. I'm at Traveling Glenn. Have a good meeting, Anthony. I wish you could join us this weekend. Producer and Dave and I will try to have a good time for you.
Yeah, keep him away from the poker table.
I don't know if I could do that. Nobody is that strong, but we'll see.
For those people that don't understand poker, I'm sorry, but I got to tell you this. I was playing with my friends online. It's a $20 game, no big deal. And just to keep us busy. And a straight flush beat me with a king over queen. I've never seen a straight flush beat a straight flush before.
Wow. That is a bad beat right there. Because you're going all in when you have a straight flush.
100%.
Oh, man. All right, everybody. Remember, you've got one life, so blaze on and
Be kind to yourself.
take care. I'll totally be taking that state.